Hey everybody, it's GoleMedX, and welcome back to another premiere draft of Brothers War. It's some more flashback drafts leading up to Blurmblow. Blurmblow? Without further ado, let's just get into our pack one. Pick one in this super sweet artifact heavy set, and we get to start with a super sweet artifact rare. Autonomous Assembler, technically a decent card in any deck, because you can play it as a 5 mana 4/5 vigilance that keeps putting counters on itself, but it is much better in white. So you do want to treat this as a white rare because a 2 mana 2/2 vigilance that can put counters on itself is much quicker, much easier to get rolling than playing this as a 4/5 every time. Now it still has that flexibility. If you top deck it late game, you're still super happy to drop it turn 5. But the quicker you get that ball rolling, the scarier it is. And yeah, it's just a great card. Easily the best card in the pack. Let's roll with it. Pick number 2, Yoshin Tactician's an excellent card for blue-white. That's obviously going to be an archetype focused around playing a bunch of soldiers, and we are starting in white pretty much guaranteed. So heading into the blue-white color pair seems like a solid spot to be, especially when there's nothing that's just like a good mono-white card here. The only great colorless card is Energy Refractor, which does fit well into almost any deck in the format, so that is somewhat of a high pickup for me. But it's not actually like absolutely insane in your deck, it's just always solid. Whereas Tactician will end up being really, really insane if we end up in that exact color pair. Or like Excavation Explosion be great if we end up in red-white. But I think Tactician has the highest upside out of all these cards, so I'm going to try to get that rolling. Alright. Pick 3, get past a second Yoshin Tactician. You just scoop that up and you hold on for dear life, don't you? Scrapwork Mutt would be the most flexible card in the pack, because you can put this into any deck and play, an Energy Refractor or two to get Unearth value out of it later. So big fan of taking those cards highly to stay super open, but this looks like a draft where I'm already almost locked in on white no matter what, and if I take 2 Yoshin Tacticians, we can just play this format kind of the opposite of how I usually draft it, where we just dive headfirst into one specific archetype and never look back. Again, it is one of the best formats for staying open all draft long because there's so many great artifacts you can scoop up, as you can see through this pack. But this is one of the very, very few drafts where I think it's actually better to just go for it. If you get 2 Tacticians in a row, we know exactly what we're trying to do. Now we have the Recruitment Officer for an excellent aggressive soldier. It's going to fit super well in this deck. Pick number 5, Aeronaut Cavalry is great at the top end of your curve, being a big flying finisher that also buffs another soldier permanently. This draft is going to be a quick one because we are on rails from here. No soldiers in this pack. We've got a decent Unearther with Astronaut's Harvester, a decent value play with the Archaeologist, although we're going to be a very creature-heavy deck, so I don't think this will be super good in our deck specifically. Kind of a miss of a pack. We'll take the Harvester, though. If we get the Energy Refractor Unearth Shenanigans, this is another one of those good, cheap Unearth cards. Pick 7, Disenchant is fine. It is main deckable. Air Marshal could give our soldiers flying, jump over for the last few bits of damage. It's also a 2-drop on curve, which is a good slot. Survivor's not very good. I think it's Disenchant or Air Marshal. They're both kind of replacement level cards. We'd hope to find better removal than Disenchant. We'd hope to find better creatures than Air Marshal. I'll go for the Marshal, though. Let's just scoop up every soldier and put a pretty clear signal that no one's going to get past soldiers in this pod. And this Weakstone Subjugation is some more of that replacement level removal, so we did get a replacement for Disenchants. Because most of the time you're just going to disenchant an artifact creature, while you can just subjugate an artifact creature and do the same thing, basically. It is a little more expensive. If it's an untapped creature you want to get rid of, it's going to be 4 mana. Riposte is fine when you're on the draw, or when you're a really slow deck. So basically it's only going to be fine when we're on the draw here, but we're definitely not a Bulwark deck, a Swift Gear Drake deck, a Supply Drop deck. Maybe Involuntary Cooldown for a big tempo swing, but not a big fan of that card. Pick 10, there's Survivor of Corliss. When we're locked in, there's Air Marshal when we're locked in. The Archaeologist, that's going to go to the side for now. unless our non-creature count gets pretty high. Harvester probably goes to the side if we don't end up playing any what is it called? Energy refractors or chromatic stars, all that kind of stuff. Probably repose to the side too. I don't know, this is still just a 2-mana 3/1. We are aggro. I guess I'll wait to cut cards until we actually have made enough playables. These are all filler we'd like to end up not running, but not a single one of these cards are cards that we can't technically play. Same with Depth Charge Colossus, I guess. We could put all these cards in the same deck. Alright. Pack 2, pick 1. Think I want to take Prison Sentence. This is pretty absurd removal. Stop the creature from attacking, blocking, and using its abilities, plus you get to scry a little bit when you play it, which is great. It's an excellent card. Airlift Chaplain is also pretty dang good. You get a flyer, you get to pick up another cheap creature. It's really good in a deck that's super Unearth heavy, though. And we're not really... Yeah, I don't think we're the best Airlift Chaplain deck, but it is a great card for that deck. I'd rather just have Prison Sentence here. Could also like splash in Legions to Ashes, I guess. And that's basically the same as just a Prison Sentence most of the time. Okay, Machine Over Matter is very efficient bounce. Although we don't have a lot of artifact creatures in here, so I guess it is going to be 2 mana, which is not... If you can Machine Over Matter for just 1 mana, then it's awesome. But if it's 2, then it's mediocre. But there's no blue-white soldier cards in this pack, sadly. So Machine Over Matter it is. Or like that Desynchronize is another bounce spell. Wow, this is a bummer. I'm gonna assume good blue-white soldier cards are just not getting opened, because it would be really weird. Like, to get past 2 Tacticians, the odds of, like, more Tacticians getting opened on the left and getting other players into the same archetype as us would be pretty low. But maybe they got blue-white soldier rares or something. I don't know, the only stuff that was taken out of this pack was, like, the rare, some commons. We just didn't open up good uncommons for this deck. Yeah, I mean, this pack's a complete miss. Alright, maybe the players on our left just open blue-white soldier rares. This is kind of the nightmare scenario here. We're just going to get, like, no playables in pack 2. This Animation and Stern Lesson are the closest here. We're not a good animation deck. Actually take the Stern Lesson. Okay, Yoshin Medic is fine filler. We'll throw that in. Again, luckily, literally every card that we've taken has been on color, so worst case scenario, we can be a mediocre blue-white soldiers deck. And because we've taken so many on-color cards, this just means by the end of pack 2, we already have a mediocre deck built. All we need to do is find a few more premium playables in pack 3, and then we get to just cut all our mediocre cards and make the deck pretty phenomenal. Okay, I'm happy to see Phalanx Vanguard here. I actually think we're going to be aggressive enough to not do energy refractor shenanigans, especially when we only have 1 off-color Unearth ability anyway right now. So we don't really have stuff to do with the refractor. Alright, yeah, maybe these were just really awkward packs, because pick 7 Prison Sentence and 2 Soldiers is a decent sign for us. So maybe pack 2 just sucked. But we'll take the second Prison Sentence. We've got quite a large stack of mediocre stuff I want to cut. Alright, Mightstone's animation here. Probably gets cut, but maybe we'll find synergies for it in the next pack. It has the highest upside if we find cards to work with it. We have reached 23 playables, by the way, so we can cut a card every time we take something. But now I'm just drafting another mediocre card. Get the Power Blade as an option and cut the Depth Charge Colossus. Thopter Architect as an option. Cut the Soul Guide Lantern. Alright, please, Pack 3. If Pack 3 is anything like Pack 1, we'll have a great deck, but if it's like Pack 2, we're gonna have problems. Okay, Pack 3 Pick 1 starts great for us. So Scrapwork Cohort synergizes so well with Yoshin Tactician, and we have 2 copies of Yoshin Tactician, that I'm going to take Scrapwork Cohort over a pretty good rare here. Urza's Command is very flexible. The best thing it usually does is it gets you a creature with power toughness equals number of artifacts you control, and you get to scry 1, draw a card. And our deck isn't that artifact heavy, so it's decent in our deck. Usually it's a pretty good rare, but I think it's only decent in our deck, whereas Scrapwork Cohort just has incredible combos for our deck. We'd really love to get a Wing Commando to come back, but I think Cohort is just so dang good with double Tactician. We gotta take the Cohort. It's also the least likely to come back because anybody can take Cohort, no matter what colors they're playing. We do get a 3rd prison sentence here, which is quite excellent. Combat Courier would be fine. I wouldn't ever take Disenchant over Prison Sentence, because, again, we're almost always just hitting the same card with Prison Sentence as we would with Disenchant, except that Prison Sentence can hit more cards. Yeah, it's Prison Sentence or Courier, but I'm taking Prison Sentence. Pick 3, Ambush Paratrooper is deceptively good. Just a really cheap flyer. Sometimes you get to eat a 1/1 token out of nowhere, and once you get to that 5 mana, like in an aggressive deck like this, just buffing the whole board can be a big deal. So, pretty big fan of the Paratrooper. It's obviously also great with Yoshin Tactician. Surprise 2/3 flyer is quite significant. Pick number 4. Doesn't look like we have anything here. There's a recommission. If we keep the curve super duper duper low. It's cute. I'm just going to rare drop the well, though. Okay, pick 5. We got a Wing Commando. There we go. A little more flyers. Excellent flying soldier here. We've got 5 2-drops and a 1-drop. We can take a 3rd 3-drop. Come on in, Wing Commando. Pick 6. Another Ambush Paratrooper. Let's go. This pack is the good one. Well, pack 1 was the good one, but this one looks decent too. And now there's only 4 filler-ish cards left, and these are all fine, actually. These are not bad at all. The fact where I'm just going to put them into the actual mana curve at this point. And then, boom, this is a great blue-white soldiers deck. Things really shaped up in the last pack. Yeah, deck already looks great now. And we might even be able to find a couple more playables. Oh, actually, this animation probably needs cut. Mass production's funny with 2 copies of Yoshin Tactician, but for 6 mana, it's pretty bad without them. We have a low enough artifact count, though, that animation's really not going to get played, so it's between that and the really filler Onulet. We'll take the mass production played over Mightstone's animation for now. Would probably like to cut it, though. Oh, wow. Zephyr Sentinel's busted. 2 mana, 2/1 flash flyer is already an excellent deal. And sometimes you get to pick up one of your creatures in response to your opponent's removal spell, and you make this a 3/2 flyer when you do that. If you're picking up a soldier, Zephyr Sentinel's incredible, and there was an Ambush Paratrooper in the same pack, which was another good card for this deck, and we wield the first Wing Commando. This is absolutely golden. Do we have 17 creatures in here? Perfect, yep. Mass production is basically another creature. That's probably the next cut. Got the Combat Courier back? Sure. I think I have, 5 pieces of interaction here. Enough interaction to not go for the Disenchant. Scattering might be okay. Would definitely be better than Archaeologist for this deck. All right. So drop that Harvester, and this is kind of just the deck immediately. Looks pretty great. I'm super happy with it. Could maybe cut a land here, but we do have Assemblers, another 5-drop turn lesson can ditch a land. Got a couple mana sinks here with the Paratroopers too. Don't mind the 17 land build. Think we're just gonna call it a deck here and get into the gameplay. Alright, here we are on the play here. Let's just curve out and beat down. Let's be on the play, curve out, and just smash our opponent. Ooh, Ocean Tactician coming turn 4. I would love if they play a good blocker turn 2, because then the 1, 2, 3, 4 curve is unstoppable. I suppose if they don't, I get to Courier and sack it to make sure I hit land 4, or at least make it more likely. That's probably good. Green-red from our opponent. Obliterating Bolt to the 1/1 first strike. Sure. I guess it doesn't get to do its graveyard shenanigans anymore, but that's just a little bit of scry, so I don't mind that at all. Green, red, and white from our opponent. There's Bitter Reunion, discard a card, draw 2. They get a big haste swing later. Adjust myself in my chair loudly. Sentinel Stalwart. Can stop the Stalwart's ability if that ends up being concerning. I guess if I don't hit the land, I'll do that. But we hit the land. Let's go. Hopefully they're playing some white removal spells. If they play a Prison Sentence, then I get to Zephyr Sentinel back whatever they put a Prison Sentence onto. That's going to be pretty backbreaking. Another Stalwart. I wonder if they're full 5 color. We know they're at least 3. Hoarding Recluse is kind of whatever. I mean, I guess I do have double Prison Sentence now. I hit for 6 if I cast one of these. I get to scry into land 5. Yeah. Yikes. I kind of feel like I need land 5 badly enough to ditch all these, even though the cohort's so good with Tactician. Because land 5 means Cavalry and then Sentinel plus Prison Sentence in the same turn. Those are just huge plays. Yeah, sorry, cohort. Could cash in the Courier for 1 damage, but I would rather keep it to draw another card later if things go wrong. Explode Marshall. Marshall, no! He's dead. He's gone. They have a combat trick that's good enough to kill a 4/5. They got it. It's gotta be exactly giant growth here. It can't be Gaia's gift. Gotta be +3/+3. And they have to double block. Alright, chump it is. Boulder Branch Golem for the life gain, yeah. Buys a lot of time. They're at 14 now. Air Marshal speeds things up. I can also just prison sentence this and get a good scry off it. Now we can ditch these lands, now that we hit land 5. Jam on in, team. Jam on in. There's the chump again. I think I would rather hold up Zephyr Sentinel than cast Air Marshal here, because now we can counter a removal spell from our opponent. But if they don't play any removal, we can still flash this in the end step. Our opponent is trying their best here. They are gaining so much life. One, 8, 9, 10, 11. I can hit them for 11 or just hit them for 7, playing Wing Commando for now. Let's just hit for 7. Still going to be a 2-turn kill. We can Air Marshal the Tactician in the Sky next turn. Be incredibly lethal. I mean, it's already lethal without giving anybody else flying. Alright, they gained a lot of life, but it was not enough to stop the gigantic soldiers from flying in. Thanks to the Yoshin Tactician buffs, and we start things off 1-0, heading into Game 2. Alright, here we are for Game 2. We got a 1-drop and a 5-drop, and we're hoping to draw the stuff in between. But that's the majority of our deck, just based on mana curves in general. Like 6 2-drops and stuff we can draw. I don't love Stalwart for Recruitment Officer as a trade. But Stalwart is valuable as a mana dork. Guess I attack in. Alright, opponent does find their Stalwart to be valuable, so we just get some free damage in. Energy Refractor Stalwart combo has been set up. The Stalwart is a full-on Birds of Paradise now. Ambush Paratrooper. If we're immensely lucky, then they'll attack in with Stalwart next turn. But that would require them to not have like a 4-drop in hand. So it's pretty unlikely. It would require them to not want to get any Stalwart mana here. Yeah. Super, super likely that they wanted to cast something there by the fact that they did not trade Stalwart off for a couple turns. Could subjugate Stalwart. But I can also subjugate the Gigamole and keep getting damage in. Ooh, or we can top deck that. I can kill that without losing a creature, but then they take 5. I think we do this. Take it all. I'm surprised they don't go for the Gigamole trade on that one. Maybe they have removal coming up for the Tactician, and once Tactician is gone, the Gigamole just holds off the officer without dying. Yep. Skyfisher Spider to kill Tactician. Although... Okay, I see. Yeah, so they needed Gigamole to sack it to the Spider because they need Stalwart for mana still for other stuff. They're down to 6. Land draw for cavalry would be huge. It's also the mana for paratroopers ability. There's an opportunist. There we go. Into the skies we go. Gaia's Gift? Sure. I'll trade Paratrooper for Gaia's Gift. Gaia's Gift's a pretty premium card. A fine 1-for-1 trade. Alright, that does not have reach, so Cavalry's going to hit them to 3. 2 swings and they're dead from Cavalry. Alright, Stern Lesson, do you find anything that matters? Sort of. We find a Phalanx Vanguard. That's probably the wrong land to discard, but whatever. Let's see if they can deal with Cavalry. If not, it's almost concession time. No, they dealt with Cavalry. Still gotta be pretty careful how they attack here. Got 3 life. But they are gonna send the Crusher in. It's 8 damage by itself. Scry 2 in the upkeep here. We just need to dig for another flyer and then we win. So Scry 2 in the upkeep feels like a strat. There we go. Oh my god, that's insta-lethal, isn't it? Oh, it's 1 damage off. Oh, it's 1 damage off. It's still terrifying. We absolutely have to keep it. Gaia's Courser does not block flyers. Ten, 14 damage. It's not going to be a +6 trick here. So we make sure that even if they kill Air Marshal, they're dead to top deck removal, but they cannot kill Air Marshal, and that is 2-0 heading into Game 3. Alright, here we are for Game 3. Need white mana bad. I can Stern Lesson towards it or top deck it. This is a gamble. But if I top deck white source immediately, the hand's pretty good. And we never didn't have it. Uh-oh, the mirror match. The mirror match, but they're on the play? They get the advantage? Oh god, and they have Thopter Mechanic? This card is broken. Doesn't work with Mishra's Bauble, though. At least not right now. They have to stack this during our turn, and then it'll pop off with Bauble. Okay, luckily Prison Sentence is decent against the Thopter Mechanic. The problem with the mechanic is it's just going to sit there and keep getting bigger if I don't kill it, and if I do kill it, it's going to spit out a 1/1 flyer, and they're up in value that way. Luckily, Prison Sentence doesn't technically kill it, just pacifies it. Locks it down on the board. So that is the best way to deal with that card. They saw my planes. Alright, show me a counterspell for an enchantment. There's Scatter Ray for creatures and artifacts. I think that's it for the format. For the mana they have up there. Get this land away from me, so help me. Now we poke for 2, and then they ambush paratrooper in the end step. Whenever they allow me to. Oh, stern lesson. I misread the situation, that's on me. I thought it was an ambush party time. It does trigger the Thopter thing again. Pretty strong. They discarded a wing commando? Their hand must be loaded. It's 5 wing commandos. Nope. Sigil of Valor is the play alongside it. Which is gonna buff it up because the Thopter mechanic. Alright. That plays pretty well against the prison sentence. Powerstone Engineer. Don't. Do not touch my tactician. Okay. They looked at it for 1 split second, and that was enough to get me all nervous. Well, this is massive damage. 3 other creatures. 5. I'm on a 3-turn clock now. Ah, never mind. Shoot, that Warlord's Elite is a big deal, though. If I prison sentence the wing commando, they can just put the sigil onto a ground troop, and then I have the same problem. It's just that I can chump block a little bit. So I don't even think a prison sentence is all that good right now. So I'm guessing it's like Phalanx Vanguard hold up the ability to Stern Lesson. So we can trade up into the Warlord's Elite here. And try to draw into something better. Cool, we'll 1-for-1 trade Vanguard into Elite here. That also makes the Sigil less threatening. Wow, I really hope they have prison sentences of their own. Because the Zephyr Sentinel's so good against them. Alright, so now we're taking 4 in this guy. We're on a 4-turn clock. I maybe should have just held Zephyr Sentinel again. Airlift Chaplain, just a 2/2 flyer, and Thran Spider. Everybody gets a Power Stone, but they can use theirs to dig for artifacts. So they've got an excellent mana sink. Yeah, that was a pretty big issue, right? Play 2 more creatures and the Sigil's just popping off. We're just getting domed by Sigil of Valor. Badly. Can't even prison sentence Wing Commando because they just move the Sigil to the Chaplain. Take another 6. Oh boy. Could block this Marshal with Spider and somebody else. Or double block with Engineer Chaplain. So this trades into Spider or Engineer and Chaplain. Or it hits for 4. Honestly, I think the best case scenario for us is that it hits for 4. Oh, just a chump. Very interesting. Alright. Not expect that one at all. It's probably fine, all things considered. Still slows down the Sigil a little bit. They can hit us for 4 by attacking with both of these, but at that rate, better just attack with the Sigiled Up card and hit for 5. The Sigil only buffs on solo attacks. Okay, I will take 1 less damage, and you will have 1 less blocker. Well, that was pretty favorable. Might have misread the Sigil. I've been got the same way. I misread the Sigil first times I was drafting this format. Honestly, for a very long time. I was always like, wait, that thing's just gonna crush me even if they attack with everybody. But no, only if it attacks alone. I think I need like 2 blockers up at least here. So we hold up Air Marshal and Zephyr Sentinel. No, we probably hold up a Tactician and a Zephyr Sentinel. So Zephyr Sentinel can pick up the tapped Air Marshal, because I definitely don't want to pick up a Tactician, because that makes my blockers smaller. Wow, that's so bad for me. Okay, so I don't die. But now Air Marshal dies for free. I guess I can Zephyr Sentinel the Air Marshal back to my hand here, instead of Zephyr Sentinaling the Tactician back. There's them scrying too is really bad though. Wow, this card is such a nightmare for this attack. Well, yeah, I guess just attacking with 2 Tacticians would have worked so much better here. That's absolutely gross. Right at the top. Give me a break. Please and thank you. Okay. Keep my 2 flying blockers. Why did you scry to the top? Oh, thank God. Not a combat trick. So, deal with every single flyer they have. Right? It's like ambush paratrooper, we're so dead. They just get a new flyer to kill me with. I don't think I can afford to not attack here, though. Because Thran Spider can grind out the game for them. With the 7-mana ability, digging for all their artifacts. Please don't do it. Do not better troop me. With Air Marshal, do I actually take Cohort first? I might take Cohort first. No! Koilos rock. Alright, you got me. Well, that desynchronize absolutely demolished us. Is what it is. 2-1 heading into game 4. Where are the planes, though? Alright. Well, I mean, we have to keep. We've got our colors, but we're not doing anything till turn 4. We were on a forced mold to 6. Can't really go down to 5 there. Yikes. I need to hit some good spells, so I'm going to drop this prison sentence. I still have a subjugation for other cards. Well, there you go. Yeah, I like that sequence. I mean, I'll have both in hand by the time I have mana for either of them anyway. Yeah. Black is really good against Prison Sentence in this format because Powerstone Fracture. It's kind of brutal. Alright, well, had to mulligan to a slow hand, and now we just lose. Visions of Phyrexia is an insane card draw engine. That takes over a long game, and this game is going to go long with how slow our hand is. They draw an extra card every turn, so they're casting 2 spells a turn while we're just playing blind off the top. So, unless we draw like an absolute champion, looking pretty dead. That's a start. So far, so decent. And their hit was just a land, but we don't know what their other draw is. Are they on all lands in hand? That would be actually insane, but would also be nice. I would appreciate it. Apparently. Well, there's Powerstone Fracture with a bunch of Power Stones, so there goes Paratrooper. Uchi Cave Guard, that's Ward 4. I need 8 mana. Well, there you go. Sibling Rivalry, they can borrow one of our creatures. If they have another sack spell in hand, they can sack it. But they did just exile one of them. If they have a Powerstone Fracture, that is, well, we just lose. Sibling Rivalry, Powerstone Fracture kills our 2 best cards. Dump mana into Paratrooper, still have the 2-up for Fracture, but they don't have Fracture? Is there 0 justice in the world? Wow. Okay. Our opponent hit the worst draws I've almost ever seen. They had to draw 2 a turn and just drew significantly worse than us with twice as much card draw available. That has gotta feel real bad for our opponent, but what can you do? Magic is a game of variance. Sometimes you can just luck sack into some victories like that one. We are now 3-1 heading into game number 5. Okay, pretty nice curve here for game 5. Let's just roll out. Now we got the prison sentence turn 3 as well. For their blocker to get our stuff through. I enjoy it. They don't even play a blocker. Down to 16. Mono blue so far. Send in the paratroops. They have the 3 mana counterspell up here. Be fine. A little bit of 1-for-1 interaction. We would really want to draw another threat if that is the case. Did not, though. Alright. We're keeping the pressure on. They're not going to be able to establish any blockers, so if all they have is counterspells and not hard removal, we might be able to kill them with just these 2. But there's the red source, and here comes the burn. Ooh, hello, Autonomous Assembler. This is our first time we ever got to play our Autonomous Assembler. I just realized, first game we've drawn it. Should be pretty cool. I mean, he's going to be jamming in for 3 next turn. Was a solid turn. They're down to 4. The one thing I don't love about that turn is that I did blow my machine over matter. I can return my own card with this to save it from removal. Cast it against them later. So that was one consideration when bouncing the rock, but I mean, it just gets so much damage and we just do it. Main phase the rock, now I can prison sentence it. And lethal. And there's the concession. That is 4-1. We are at least breaking even on gems out of the event, and we're at a positive win rate no matter what. So just a really good record for the return trip to Brothers War this time around. Another incredible looking hand. Snap keep. Playing against green-white, they got that turn 2 Argothian Sprite jamming in. And then another, this one's an Argothian Opportunist. I think we should be able to outrace them because of Tactician here. Okay, double Tactician certainly. So I don't think actually throwing out Prison Sentence or holding up a blocker. I think we are just trying to get as much damage in as quickly as possible. Get the double Tactician down to win the race, and then Prison Sentence any reach or flying blockers they manage to get out. We are down to 13. Green does have some great life gain creatures that could be a problem. Cohort is not one of them, but it is a threatening amount of damage. Well, we would be mega winning the race on the play. On the draw, it's a little sketchier. Yep. Epic confrontations, about all it takes for them to win the race here. We go to 3. And they have more threats, yeah. Well, fortunately a bit of a play versus draw game. We probably win this on the play, but we auto lose on the draw. No play survives now. Yep. Lost the coin flip. 4 and 2 heading into game 7. Oh, I'm feeling blue. But we draw 2 extra cards towards the white source. And technically Courier's castable no matter what. Hey, there it is. Our average draw is more impactful than a 1-1. And then I drew another 1-1. Let's just cash in the Courier. There we go. That's a good one. Playing against Gruul. Some red-green stuff. Conscripted Infantry. Cohort should be great against it. Cohort into Tactician is an excellent curve. So that dies and spits out a 1-1. So it's basically a cohort that can't unearth. And there's 2 of them now. Twins. Just pass on through. These are pretty annoying little roadblocks. Do not touch the Ocean Tactician. I will be anger. Arbalist Engineers. Trample haste onto a conscripted infantry. And then we see what combat trick they're using on Survivor. If they want to use a combat trick against our 1-drop, that's pretty favorable for us. We get rid of like a Gaia's Gift here or something. Giant Growth, sure. It's a little less favorable because that's a lot of damage, but it's still fine. Ooh. Yes. I'm just gonna do that. Double block this Tactician. I'm so greedy. Like, I feel like it's probably right to attack with this Tactician because they lose both these threats. And then all this damage gets in. But I'm like, but double Tactician though. It's so good on board. I also have double Prison Sentence to start clearing a path for the double Tactician squad. It's an opportunist. That's real suspicious. Show me your next combat trick. It is all combat tricks all day, baby. They had Gaia's Gift and Giant Growth. Alright, well, they're out of the way now. And these are good draws. I'll just have a full play set of Prison Sentence. I'll draw that later. I can't cast all three in one turn anyway. There's no world in which I need a third Prison Sentence in hand immediately. Make sure they only have 3 power on the board, so unless they also have another Giant Growth, this Prison Sentence pops off. Boom. I hope I don't die. They only have 8 power on board, but 0 blocks makes me a little scared. Yeah, no, it doesn't look like we're dying. Cool. And they have 7 power on their board. If I Prison Sentence the 3, they have 1, 2, 3, 4 power on their board. So we Prison Sentence the 3, because I have my third Prison Sentence that's just been stuck off top. It's waiting. I want to tuck it away again so bad because it's so funny, but I think I actually should put it on top. Just keep putting it second. Just like, oh, we'll find you eventually, Prison Sentence. Just keeps getting picked last for the football team or Prison Sentence. All right, well, I mean, that was just like hitting our best cards. We had double Tactician they couldn't deal with if we hit the full play set of Prison Sentence. Technically not a play set, 4 is a play set, but we hit our full play set, every copy we have. So we just hit our good stuff, and I'm assuming our opponent hit their weaker stuff. And we are now 5-2, so we're guaranteed in the money after this draft. All right, here we are on the play with our mono blue soldiers deck. Ready to send everything into the skies. Drop some aerial bombardment on this fool. Oh, we're not on the play. I was the fool all along. Oh, I am on the play. How did my brain do that? How did I forget that I literally played turn 1 already? I don't know what's happening anymore. I apologize. It is the mirror match. We are on the play and we have a Prison Sentence to clear the skies for our double wing commandos. So I think with 0 information on what these 5 cards are, I feel favored on average, but who knows what those 5 cards are. We might not be. And of course, Zephyr Sentinel is incredible against Prison Sentence, so if they're running that as their removal, we could be good. I mean, better than good. Zephyr Sentinel against Prison Sentence is broken. It's great. Acacia's Onulet. That gains life when it dies, right? Yeah, when it leaves. I think I win the race without Prison Sentence, but the Scry 2 might be worth it. Because I can just send Air Marshal into the sky and still hit with everybody. I guess I do also get double Prowess trigger. Yeah, sure. Double Prowess trigger plus Scry 2. Yeah, I'll be out of removal, but I can scry towards more removal. By ditching any lands, at least. I think I'll ditch land and Vanguard. Neither of those are super high impact at this point. But Vanguard would have been okay. They're down to 10. If they play like a Scrapwork cohort or something, it might be worth picking up Air Marshal. Although I guess the Air Marshal can give itself flying, so probably not. Oh, that is the Scrapwork cohort. So now I would have to give Air Marshal flying to get it in for damage. I'm going to pick up Air Marshal. I hit for 1 less damage next turn. If I would have had the mana to give Air Marshal flying. Oh, it's their own Zephyr Sentinel versus the prison sentence. No! Are you kidding me? I've had so many blue-white mirror matches with the Zephyr Sentinel in hand. But it's gonna be our opponent who gets to actually do that. That's really frustrating. Oh my god. Well, at least our opponent dies to top decking a non-creature spell. Our opponent dies to prowess. They stole my play that I've been waiting for all draft long. It's actually the rudest thing they could do. And they gained life when they picked up the Onulet too, because it's when it leaves the battlefield for any reason. That was just unfun. And now we're just gonna flood to death. What have you got? The ambush with the 5 mana, so it's a 2/3 blocker, so missing the prowess is completely detrimental here. Yeah, they just eat Air Marshal for free and they don't have to worry about other soldiers jumping into the sky. Oh my god, this is so bad. But what can we do about it when our hand is lands? We do still win to top decking one of our other prison sentences. Machine over matter doesn't work because they can just put that back onto the board because it has flash. But prison sentence would be lethal. Ask and you shall receive. Don't. Well, it's not the end of the game. Because we don't die on the crackback. And they still die if we get another swing. Guess I'll bluff something with this plains. Really doesn't matter. Yeah, we still win next turn if they don't kill us or stop all of our flyers. That's a big yikes. I don't think they can afford to attack with it, though. They have to have it as a blocker. Unless they think they're going to top deck perfectly, which I guess is a play. They are praying to the gods of RNGesus. Let's find out if their prayers have been answered. This is lethal in the sky. And the card they had in hand was just a 4/4 on the ground, so unless they top decked perfectly, this is the kill. Could put them to 1. I don't actually think I do that. Got a little trigger happy on the paratrooper. I forgot that I need to recast this because it's going to my hand and not getting killed. So I was like, just play the paratrooper, get the extra 1 damage in, but it's like, no, I just need the mana to recast that, so might as well have that at instant speed. They're just praying again. Alright, let's see what you get. Okay, they didn't find it this time, so they scoop. Close game. Close mirror match there, but we do barely get there. And we are now 5-2 in the money no matter what. Oh, we're 6-2. We were already in the money. Let's go. Final boss time. Final game of Magic, win or lose. Let's do it. All right, here we are for the final battle. We got double paratrooper and 1 removal spell. Definitely hoping to hit some non-lands, but the hand looks like a decent start. Turn Lesson's a pretty great draw. Turn whatever we don't need into some cards we do. Hello, Wing Commando, another great draw. Curve out a little better now. Sentinel Stalwart. So man of any color, energy refractor. Alright, they got ramp and fixing for anything they need at this point. I could subjugate the Stalwart, but we probably subjugate the giant creature they end up dumping in our face. So let's probably Stern Lesson here. Recruitment Officer Stern Lesson is the play. Go ahead and get some prowess damage out of this. Sure. It's an opportunist, just a 3/2 on the ground. We're still out racing in the skies. Get the officer trade up on the attacks here. Could be good. There's the anti-Unearth tech from our opponent. The Soul Guide Lantern has arrived. Prison Sentence. I really don't see the need to do that. We can just trade officer for opportunist. I mean, I could get some Wing Commando prowess, I guess, but I think I'm just playing another threat right now. Sure. Let's do another flying threat. Another paratrooper. Some Blanchwood golems would be annoying. Skyfisher Spider's also annoying. Blow up Wing Commando. Exodemon. Well, that's awkward. Because now, even if I subjugate the spider, They can use Thraxidemon to sack it, so they can pick it up with Emergency Weld or any graveyard recursion. I still have to hit the spider first, so that I can get my flying damage in. And I'm a mana off from Prison Sentence and actually playing a creature in the same turn to get past the spider. We are going to get got bad by Emergency Weld Skyfisher Spider. And there's nothing I can do about it, because even if I wait... And I guess if I Prison Sentence Thraxidemon first, that's something I could do. But that is really assuming that they're running Emergency Weld. I mean, they're on black. I'm going to scry. And I'm going to get rid of the sack. Cards are all bad. I guess a land lets me Subjugation and play Air Marshal in the same turn. I do have 5 mana abilities on the Paratroopers. And the other thing Thraxidemon's doing, even if they don't have specifically Skyfisher Spider Emergency Weld combo, is it is like drawing cards through all the Powerstone production they have. Oh, dang it. Yeah, this is bad. It's grinding out into a long game where their colors are way, way favored here. Oh, alright, well, that's quite the bomb. Basically a one-sided board wipe and then some, pick up their best creatures from grave, save the Thraxidemon from the prison sentence. Yeah, that's the game ender right there. Fantastic bomb to end things off. The game was already going bad for us. I don't even think they needed to have a bomb rare to win this over time. Green-black's really good at grinding it out, and they were pretty well defended there, so they had plenty of time to grind out value till they're enough ahead on board to beat us down. But, oh man, they had the Skyfisher Spider Emergency Weld combo as well if I had tried to pacify the Skyfisher. Yeah, this is just a fantastic deck from our opponents. Hitting one of their better draws, and we were a bit too slow to try to outrace it at all. Yeah. I mean, the Gixis command, of course, was just unbeatable, but their deck's really good even without the bomb rare, and was grinding out to win regardless. So, get slammed in the end, but we still get a 6-3 run, a very positive record where we're leaving with a bunch of extra prizes, leaving with quite a bit more than we spent to enter. I will take it. I'm not going to play this out longer from here. I think we're good. So our record for the return trip to Brothers War is 7-1 into 6-3. So that is a insanely positive win rate. Pretty nice for these 2 return drafts. We also got to play the 2 different ends of the spectrum, really. We got to play a very slow, splashy, grindy green-black deck, and then 2 completely different colors here, with a really aggressive blue-white soldiers build. So nice to play 2 very different decks. We drafted in 2 very different ways. The first time staying super open, taking a bunch of fixing and everything, and this time just diving headfirst into a specific archetype. So got to do, even out of just 2 drafts, definitely a variety of stuff in Brothers War, and it all played out great for us. So pretty nice return trip to the format. It was a pretty sweet one. Definitely one of my favorites of the year it came out, at least. It's cool stuff. had a pretty good time and got a lot of gems out of these drafts. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.